This project was what I would call a major project. It all started because we had used to be an old pathway over the railroad track from one field to the other, and they had a concrete culvert underneath there, and it filled up and blocked it, and the railroad ditch came out into my field. Every year would have a washout 2 feet wide, probably 2 feet deep, 3 feet deep sometimes. So I had a maintenance crew go through, and I asked them if I could repair that. And they said sure, as long as they didn't have to do it, that's okay. Also, the telephone poles along here were no longer being used. I asked them, they said they served no use at all. 20 years ago, somebody stole the copper off the wiring off of them, so they were just sitting there. And you're always coming close with your farm equipment to them, and a couple of them actually had broken off. So they said I could get rid of them telephone poles, so I got rid of 13 of them down this side and 13 of them down this side, 26 telephone poles. On this side, it was 90% poison ivy on those poles and everywhere else. Brush, mulberry trees, the birds sit up in those poles and crap down seeds, and we probably had 15-20 mulberry trees. You can't trim them back because you get a bush, then a tree again. So I had a neighbor come with his backhoe, and he helped me dig the roots out. A major job again. And down on this side, we had probably 15-20 saplings right here where you couldn't see the train coming by. This is high ground on a low track, dangerous situation. So I just went whole hog on it. Got the roots out, the trees out, the poison ivy out, the brush out. I used my disc chisel to rip it up, and then I used a field cultivator to work it out. Then I seeded it, and then I took a spike tooth harrow and incorporated the seed in, and now I mow and maintain it. We actually had a ODOT truck down here with his flashers on while I was in the barnyard. I came down to see what he was up to. He asked me, what's the story with these tracks? I kind of thought, oh, I'm in trouble. But he said this was a great civic service that I did for school buses and my neighbors. You can see how far down you can see the track there and how safe it is. The train engine is way above that brush that's sticking up down there, you see. And down here is the same way. You couldn't see past this spot for a train. Now you can see clear down there. So it is a safety thing. I maintain it by mowing it and keeping it safe. I do it for my family too, but it doesn't hurt to help your fellow citizens and school bus drivers either. So it was a major job. Took about a year of hard work, and we got her done. Now you can see on the other side just what the brush looks like and how dangerous that low area of the railroad track is compared to the ditch over there. One word of caution. There's a gas line on the other side. When I was a kid, I remember him putting it in. I asked the maintenance crew if there's any optical wire, any communications wire. Sometimes they use railroad tracks to as a line to get their communication lines through. You want to double check that there are no optical wires or communication lines wherever you might be tearing the ground up. You can get sued. You can lose your farm. It's very expensive for a crew to come in and repair those. So double check, make sure there is nothing in the ground. Luckily I lived here my whole life and I knew nothing ever came on this side. So I had enough courage that I went ahead. I cut the poles off about 4 feet high, 3 feet high. Then I hooked a chain to my 3-point hitch on my tractor and really slick just pulled them up. And when I dropped that 3-point down, the chain dropped down to a lower spot. Just up, down, until I got unbelievably heavy poles out of the ground. It seemed like they were in 6-7 feet, but I got all 13 of them out. So here we have a very safe situation. I'm going to continue keeping it safe. We got a train coming now, and that's how we did this major project here, and I'm glad we did it even though it was a lot of work. Like this railroad track project, you want to start in this late winter, early spring when the weeds are low. You're going to take about 3 or 4 times knocking the poison ivy back before you can even get started. But that's how you get started, is you knock the poison ivy back, start in late winter when the weed growth is low, and just step by step attack it. Keep working, don't give up.